Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to the AM News here on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I'm Uyi Agumofwebe. Here's a reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. President Bola Tinubu has declared a nationwide security emergency, ordering the armed forces to recruit additional personnel following renewed attacks in Kebbi, Borno, Zamfara, Niger, Yobe, and Kwara states. In a statement through his media team, the president sympathized with affected families, paid tribute to fallen soldiers, including Brigadier General Musa Uba, and urged Nigerians to remain vigilant while cooperating with security agencies. The declaration comes amid heightened fears following the killing of several civilians and the abduction of over 300 students in recent school attacks. The Senate has begun the process to amend the Terrorism Act following concerns over escalating attacks and mass abductions, including the deadly raid on Government Comprehensive Girls Secondary School, MAGA, in Kebbi State. Senator Adams Shomole and other lawmakers pushed for the formation of an ad hoc committee to investigate a report within 4 weeks. The move comes as insecurity worsens across states, including Niger, Kwara, Kano, and Borno, prompting President Tinubu to declare a nationwide security emergency. Meanwhile, as President Bola Tinubu declares a state of emergency on security, experts say Nigeria's growing insecurity requires a new approach that formally brings traditional rulers into the nation's security framework. In an exclusive interview with Global Television, public policy analyst and conflict expert Lanre Adebayo says traditional institutions must become active partners in the fight against terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping. Zerao Nasrio has details.
The security challenge in Nigeria has evolved in recent years, and this has placed an enormous demand on security agencies to put an end to it. Security experts say the successes being recorded against terrorism in the country, if sustained, will make it easier for Nigerians to trust government's anti-terror measures.
Nigeria continues to grapple with deafening security crises ranging from insurgency and banditry to widespread kidnappings. These threats, many argue, are compounded by poverty, unemployment, and systematic corruption, leaving communities increasingly vulnerable. In this interview, conflict expert Larry Adebayo stressed that traditional rulers, often the first point of contact in many communities, must be equipped, trained, and integrated into national security operations if the country hopes to achieve lasting peace.
Traditional rulers in all the communities. There is nowhere in the country where you don't have traditional rulers. I think what we need to do is to see how we can integrate them into the security architecture of the country. Traditional rulers. They need to be trained, they need to be brought into the security architecture as part of strengthening the work of security agencies.
Adebayo also called for the inclusion of retired military officers with years of combat experience, saying their expertise will strengthen coordination and intelligence gathering across troubled regions.
Trained military officers who have retired. I think the security chiefs need to begin to explore that. There are some of them who had training in intelligence, who have been part of the military work. They can be brought, those who have the health, they can be brought into it.
Some Nigerians shared mixed emotions following the recent release of abducted schoolgirls in Kebbi and Niger states, describing the relief but also the lingering fear created by recurring attacks.
Release abducted 24 of them yesterday. It's a good one, but we need government to do more effort.
Government, they tried. If they have been doing like this for the previous ones, we'll say they are trying.
With insecurity evolving and communities on edge, experts insist Nigeria must rethink its approach. Integrating traditional rulers, they say, may be the missing link in building trust improving local intelligence, and supporting security agencies in restoring peace across the nation. Zahra Unasir reporting for Global TV News.
Well, thank you so very much, Zahra. The House of Representatives has ordered urgent military deployment and humanitarian support to several communities in Niger State following a surge in bandit attacks, killings, and kidnapping of more than 300 school children. National Assembly correspondent Aniete Patrick now reports.
Adopting a motion of urgent public importance, the House directed the Chief of Defense Staff to deploy armed personnel and set up forward operating bases in Luma, Audu, Fari, Aguara, and Mago to flush out the attackers. The National Emergency Management Agency and the Refugee Commission were also instructed to send food, shelter, and relief materials to displaced families.
The Nigerian Army, particularly the one that at Babana FOB, they were trying. They are risking their life, but they don't have machineries, modern techniques. How comes in this kind of era, soldier is operating in an open van vehicle?
The lawmaker also revealed that he survived an attempted assassination earlier this month while visiting his constituency, an attack that claimed several lives and left others wounded. He noted that bandits, many of them foreign, are now using the national park as a base to attack not only Niger State, but parts of Kebbi, Kwara, and even Benin Republic. Briefing journalists, he noted that the House also encouraged the National Agricultural Land Development Authority to convert the Kanji Park area into a productive agricultural zone once it is secured.
The problem of our constituency is the Kanji National Park. Before it was useful for us, there was a fantastic animal that we can see. We are receiving visitors from everywhere in the world. As a visitors, they are there for opening their eyes and what have you. But now, the story is quite different.
For now, residents remain displaced and in fear, while families of the adopted school children wait anxiously for government action. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The Senate has rejected a bill seeking to establish a National Ethnic and Reconciliation Commission. Senate President said the move is ill-timed. Here is Senate correspondent's report, Tom Sigiba.
The bill, sponsored by Senator Anthony Ani of Ebonyi South, was turned down at its second reading during plenary. The proposed legislation presented by Senator Anthony Siaku Iyaro aimed to tackle ethnic marginalization, manage grievances, and promote national unity. The bill, however, faced strong opposition from lawmakers.
We have taken several steps to address insecurity as we are facing now. We lack a permanent national institution dedicated solely to ethnic harmony, reconciliation, and early warning conflict prevention.
Senate President Goza Pabio criticized the bill's wording, saying it suggested ongoing ethnic conflict and warned that a permanent commission might send a wrong message.
Those in support that this ethnic and reconciliation commission be set up as a law in Nigeria say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
Senator Adams Oshomole in the North also expressed concerns, describing the commission as an additional bureaucratic layer unlikely to offer practical solutions.
Why we should open our eyes and create additional overhead to achieve purposes that can otherwise be achieved, even voluntarily, troubles me. But if in the views of the Senate is an offense to shoot down anything, let it go.
While a few senators voiced support, the majority opposed the bill, leading to its rejection by a decisive vote.
Those in support that this ethnic and reconciliation commission be set up as a law in Nigeria say aye. Those against say nay. The nays have it.
Also in the red chamber, the Senate also confirmed former federal lawmaker Ayo Ohulayat Omiduron as the executive chairman of the Federal Character Commission, FCC, approving her nomination along 37 commissioners representing the 36 states and the FCT. The confirmation followed the adoption of the screening report presented by Senator Allwell Hecho Onyeso, chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs. He said all nominees submitted the required documents and faced a thorough screening without any criminal petitions recorded against them. Mohamed Musa remains as secretary of the FCC. Presenting the report to the chamber, Senator Allwell Hecho Onyeso, chairman of the Senate Committee on Federal Character and Intergovernmental Affairs, informed lawmakers that all nominees have appeared before the committee on November 13th.
The committee received the curriculum vitae and other supporting documents of the nominees, as well as relevant security clearances, including the Nigerian Police fingerprints, search report, and the vetting by the Department of State Services, with an acknowledgement of their respective documentations at the Code of Conduct Bureau.
Leader of the Senate, Senator Kwemi Bamidele, moved the motion for the Senate to dissolve into the Committee of the Whole with the chamber to consider the nominees. Topsy Gemba, reporting for Global Television News.
Many thanks, Topsy. Let's stay in the National Assembly now, where the House of Representatives has launched an investigation into the alleged non-payment of scholarship stipends to Nigerian students studying at home and abroad. Many of the affected students are reportedly stranded, while parents say their children's welfare and academic work are now at risk. National Assembly correspondent Anietio Patrick was there for Global Television.
The House Committee on Student Loans, Scholarships and Higher Education Financing has opened an investigative hearing into what lawmakers describe as troubling allegations of prolonged non-payment of scholarship stipends. The probe, led by Committee Chairman Ifeoluwa Ehindero, follows rising complaints that Nigerian scholars under the Bilateral Education Agreements program have gone months, some years, without the funds required for their upkeep. Parents under the Forum of Parents and Guardians of BEA scholarship recipients told the committee that the scholarship terms have been repeatedly breached. They lament that many of the students are stranded abroad, unable to feed, pay for transportation, or access health care.
The system is a challenge. So we think that government can consider restructuring the Federal Scholarship Board and give it additional mandate and responsibility and see how the funding can be easy.
Declaring the hearing open, Speaker Tajudeen Abbas, represented by David Agada, expressed concern that delayed payments could jeopardize the future of the scholars and the image of the country.
Inquiry will also explore issues related to communications gaps and inadequate student support structure to ensure that beneficiaries receive the assistance they are entitled to.
Committee Chairman Ifeoluwa Ehindero described the situation as a betrayal of national trust, saying the nation must protect the dignity of its students abroad. He says the committee will trace released funds, examine administrative lapses, and ensure such failures never reoccur.
Restoration of the original monthly stipend of $500, establishment of a reliable and transparent payment framework, creation of a comprehensive welfare monitoring system.
The committee is expected to summon all relevant government agencies as the probe continues. Parents say they are hoping for urgent intervention before more students abandon their studies. From the National Assembly, Anietio Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
The federal government has pledged a continuous diplomatic relation with Mexico to enhance mutual interest between both countries. Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Donuma Umar Ahmed, made this known while receiving the Mexican delegation at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs head office in Abuja. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reports.
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Donuma Umar Ahmed, while welcoming the delegation led by Ambassador Gomez Toledo, expressed Nigeria's commitment to strengthening the long-standing relations.
Nigeria and Mexico, though located on different sides of the Atlantic, are bound by shared values, complementary strengths, and a common desire to promote peace, inclusive development, and multilateral cooperation. Our countries stand as regional leaders, Nigeria in Africa and Mexico in the Americas. Our partnership has the potential to generate significant benefits not only for our peoples, but also for our respective regions.
The Director General for Africa, Central Asia and Middle East, Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Mexico, Ambassador Gomez Toledo says the move is built to build a lasting relationship between both countries.
I trust that today's meeting will open a new chapter in our bilateral relationship and allow us to resume a productive and more frequent dialogue between our ministries. I am confident that our discussions today will contribute significantly to strengthening our relations, reviewing the current state of our bilateral agenda, and identifying new opportunities for cooperation.
The meeting reaffirmed both countries' commitment to strengthening diplomatic ties, enhancing economic opportunities, and advancing multilateral cooperation. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global Television News.
From Ramsey's reports now, Nigeria is exploring new frontiers in energy as the country seeks to diversify its industrial sector, reducing carbon emissions. Stakeholders from government, industry, and international partners convened for the German-Nigerian Hydrogen Symposium 2025 with a focus on hydrogen policy implementation to accelerate industrial decarbonization and economic diversification. Obong Usoro reports.
The symposium brought together leaders from the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning and international experts to discuss how hydrogen can shape Nigeria's energy future. Engineer Irene, Chief Petroleum Industry Analyst at OPEV, highlighted the role of hydrogen in driving cleaner and more sustainable industrial practices. She explained that implementing hydrogen policies could not only reduce carbon emission, but also create new industrial opportunities and strengthen Nigeria's position in the global energy market.
We need to start now and start to model, start to put that in place, 80% export, 20% local, then we can start to get market share to make it more commercial.
Also speaking at the symposium, Abdul Sika emphasized the critical role of infrastructure in building a green energy economy. They explained that hydrogen technology and other clean energy solutions can only succeed if there's robust infrastructure network to support production, distribution, and industrial use.
Pure hydrogen and other hydrogen-based carriers can be produced and synthesized from an assortment of different feedstocks, including fossil fuel, biomass, water, solar, wind, etc. Moreover, they can also be transported, stored, and used throughout an array of different configurations.
Participants also discussed strategies for industrial decarbonization, investment in hydrogen infrastructure, and policies that support energy diversification in Nigeria. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
Thank you, Ubong. Across Africa, climate change is no longer an abstract idea. It is now a daily reality for farmers, families, and young people who continue to struggle with floods, droughts, and rising cost of living. In Abuja, climate advocates have gathered to close out the African Activists for Climate Justice Project, a 5-year initiative that has driven conversations, community actions, and policy engagements across the country. Again, Ubong Usoro has details.
In Abuja, activists, young leaders, and community organizers from different parts of the country converged for the final closeout meeting of the African Activists for Climate Justice, AACJ. For many of them, the gathering was more than a formal ceremony. It was a reunion of voices who have spent the last 5 years advocating, mobilizing, and pushing for climate justice across Nigeria. Climate change leader at Oxfam, Kenneth Akpan, emphasized the need to sustain community-driven climate initiative beyond the close of the AAC project.
Healthy environment to thrive, knowing that we contribute less than 2% of the overall cost of the climate impact globally.
During the meeting, one of the project's partner, David Terunwa, Executive Director of GSEF, commended Adamawa State for its leadership and commitment to climate action and urged other states to take greater responsibility in setting and meeting their climate commitments nationwide.
And I believe that subnational policies are critical to building climate resilience.
As the AAC project comes to an end in Nigeria, climate advocates say the real work is only just beginning. They believe that with stronger political will, continuous community engagement, and sustained collaboration, states across the country can build a more resilient and climate-secure future for millions of Nigerians. Ubong Usoro for Global Television News.
This is Global Television, and you're watching the live broadcast of the AM News. When the rest of the news returns shortly, Guinea-Bissau General sworn in as transitional president after coup. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories for you. On the other side of this break, please do stay with us. Thank you, everyone. This second part of this news broadcast now returns with business. The World Bank has urged the federal government to immediately reduce high import tariffs and lift selected import bans, warning that inflation remains dangerously high and continues to erode the purchasing power of millions of citizens. Country Director for Nigeria, Matthew Vergs, told newsmen that poverty levels may keep rising through 2025 and possibly into 2026 if inflation is not decisively tackled, stressing that while long-term reforms must continue, certain policy actions can deliver faster relief. He also noted that sustained economic discipline is how countries like India and China achieved stability over time, but insisted that Nigeria could ease household pressures more quickly by adjusting trade barriers without derailing ongoing reforms. Now let's take you to the foreign scene, where General Horta Ntana Man has been sworn in as Guinea-Bissau's transitional president, a day after military officers announced the ouster of President Umaro Sissoco Embalo in the country's latest coup. Ntana Man, previously Army Chief of Staff and once seen as close to Embalo, said the military acted because it found sufficient evidence to justify the takeover, adding that urgent measures were needed to restore order as soldiers controlled and patrolled the tense and mostly quiet Bissau on Thursday. The coup unfolded ahead of expected provisional election results in a contest between Embalo and challenger Fernando Diaz, with the self-styled High Military Command for the Restoration of Order asserting control in a country long plagued by political instability and drug trafficking networks. In the meantime, the African Union, Economic Community of West African States, and the West African Elders Forum have condemned the military takeover in Guinea-Bissau, calling it a disruption of the democratic process. In a joint statement signed by heads of the observation missions, including Philippe Nyusi and Goodluck Jonathan, the bodies urged swift restoration of constitutional order. Excuse me. And now let's go get some excitement from the world of sports. Nigeria's D Tigers have begun their 2027 FIBA World Cup African qualifiers in Tunis, determined to avoid another major World Cup miss following the Super Eagles' failure to qualify. Coach Mohamed Abdulrahman says despite late arrivals and limited preparation time, the squad remains motivated and confident. Nigeria face host Tunisia in their opening match, with Rwanda and Guinea also competing for the limited qualification spot. And that's AM News for you. Many thanks for watching. A quick reminder that you can find Global Television on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Remember to engage and interact with us across social media platforms using @GlobalTVNG, as well as other handles as we now show you on your screen. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe. Starting shortly is Global Morning.